Morning. My name is Tammy Lloyd.
I'm Alice Weixler.
Lauren Purcell.
I'm Deborah Tuggle.
Kim Landrum.
Annie Schultz Edwards.
Hi, I'm Madeline Abramson.
Karen Wonderland.
I'm Gray Henry.
My name is Chris Fulkerson.
I'm Jessica Loving.
It's Julie Wonderland Miramontes.
Beth Steinbach.
Jennifer Van Vactor.
And I'm a retired nurse.
And I have an organizational change consulting practice.
I spend my days taking care of my child as well as working in the field of education.
And I consider myself a community volunteer.
I direct a publishing company called Fons Vitae.
That is a passion of mine, bringing the financial independence and growth to my clients.
And I am a certified image professional, and I'm also a certified coach.
I live in St. Matthews.
I live in the house my father built over in Mockingbird Valley.
My husband and I live in the Crescent Hill neighborhood.
We live in the Highlands.
I live in Prospect.
I was born and raised in Louisville, and now I live in the Silicon Valley area in Northern California.
I feel like Impact 100 popped up on my Facebook feed.
I first learned about Impact 100 from my dear friend, Joyce King Jennings.
From Deb Peterson.
Carrie Goldstein.
Connie Thomas.
My sister.
Danny Canapel.
Pam Greenwell.
Luckett Davidson.
From my sister-in-law, Sherry Steinbach.
From an email from Patty Kay.
They were doing kind of an information session out at the country club in Lake Forest. And so I went to that and I was sold.
And I just thought it sounded so awesome because it was women.
By the time I joined, they were almost at 300 members, which was absolutely amazing.
So once I saw the names of so many women in this community I know and respect, that really told the story that I needed to hear.
And it really made me think about that quote from Mr. Rogers, like, when things are bad, look for the helpers. And Impact 100 felt like a group of helpers to me.
Really what got my attention and made me join was the stories of who you all funded last year.
For me, it just didn't take me more than 10 minutes to make the decision.
With this, I was very intrigued by the fact that I was going to give a certain amount of money, which is not a nominal amount, but 100% of that was going to go to one organization, a nonprofit that would really impact our city. And I just love that idea.
And the kind of impact that the gifts that were made had convinced me of the value of the organization.
The collective giving aspect of it really was appealing to me and really an interesting concept.
This idea is just brilliant because it really does allow people like myself to contribute.
I really like the idea that it was a women-run, volunteer-run organization.
But the idea of coming together with a group of like-minded women to put significant resources toward a needed project or nonprofit in our community really appealed to me.
I want to know how that worked. I want to understand behind the scenes, not just give a check and be on my merry way.
And I looked at it and immediately it resonated with me and I was in. It didn't take any more than that invitation from Deb.
I now believe even more than I ever did that when you have been blessed and privileged as I have, you're called on to give and to work to ensure that others have the same opportunities or as many opportunities as they possibly can. And we know in our community that that just is not the case.
When I was growing up, my late father would listen to me complain about the ills of the world for a very short amount of time. And then he liked to remind me of the quote by Eldridge Cleaver: if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
I believe in my religion, in Judaism, there's an expression called tikkun olam, which means to repair the world.
Our strengths, our skills, our place in time and space, our parents, these are all on trust to us. They're on loan to be given back.
Sometimes I'm at a loss. I feel very disconnected a lot of times from some of the poverty that we have here in Louisville. And so this was a way for me to really be able to give back.
I love that the projects are local and that they're building, our local community up.
The strength of all those amounts coming together, and then these women who are energetic enough to pursue this and stick with it, and find and discover the needs and address them. I think that's spectacular.
Just the passion that I have always felt in this city, especially with the women and wanting to make it better. I've been so drawn to that and love seeing the transition.
I want to be able to make us more a united Louisville. And I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done to really be able to unite us as one.
It was a good place to raise my children. I want it to be a good place for my grandchildren and for other people's grandchildren.
But then seeing the injustices and the systemic racism that still persists and the disparity in the quality of life between so many citizens there, and really seeing that on the national stage was a real reckoning for me. And it was a moment to examine my own privilege, my own biases, and realize that I need to roll up my sleeves more.
And I care what's happening in Louisville. I care what happens to our community. If each area can improve, it's only better for us as a whole.
Urban revitalization, good education for all, healthcare for all, and really trying to look at those areas in our own community where we have underserved, underprivileged folks.
By helping those in need, it helps the businesses, it helps the schools, it helps the economy.
And it's just very important to me. I'm very prideful of being from Louisville.
And if you're working toward the solution in some way, whether it's giving of your treasure or volunteering your time or being an advocate, then you're making an effort to find the solution to our problems.
If there is injustice anywhere, there's no justice at all for anyone.
When I hear the words equity, engagement, impact.
Well, I think they're all interrelated.
Here in the US, we don't really have a lot of equity.
And if you're really dedicated to equity, you want to make sure that people have as much opportunity to live a full life as we can all possibly make.
I think without equity, there can be no meaningful engagement. There can be no long-lasting impact.
Engagement is, in my opinion, critical.
It's important for me to be able to give my money to a group that I know is actively engaged in vetting these organizations and then seeing them all the way through from start to finish.
Community, really coming together.
Every type of member in our beautiful community, being arm in arm together, and addressing those and the weaker links, and then the strength of the entire chain of us all, being able to make not just an effect, but an impact.
If we don't see ourselves on an equal playing field, then there is no impact.
And isn't that what this really is about? Is the impact of our collective dollars, what we can do, what we can share from our success and our blessings to build other people up.
I think one of the things that COVID-19 has highlighted is how we really need to work on equity.
The helpless feeling that COVID brought to many of us can be somewhat alleviated by knowing that you can come together with other women and still have a positive impact.
And I do think when you get this many women together, the impact that we do make is mind-boggling.
I would just like to say it's very exciting to know that there is a group of women who are doing this kind of work in our city.
To be able to give 3 grants after just 2 years is incredible. No telling what next year will be like.
But if the people, the women in Impact 100 believe in making a difference in our community, then I embrace that and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yes, and I'm just so grateful to the founders for bringing this organization to Louisville.
Any one of these organizations are going to be impacted in a positive way by the work that we're doing. So that to me it's refreshing.
Last year, talking to the membership, it sort of seemed like, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if we could get to 500 members? But getting to 300 in just our second year of existence really makes me feel like that is an attainable goal for this group. So I can't wait to see what the future holds for Impact Louisville.
I can just say, of the ladies that I do know, it's an amazing group.
It's an honor to have been included. And I mean, here we go. Let's just keep going forever.
Just let me hold